Welcome to the Author Showcase Meetup Club here at the Roots Room. And today we have a number of people that are going to be talking about some books.
Hi, I'm Julie Lovison, and I live near the Budlong Woods Library, and I wander and I just find whatever looks interesting to me at the time. And so these 3 books I found by accident, and they're all not exactly true in all cases, but they're stories that tell about the Chicago experience. And the first one is The Logic of a Rose, Chicago Stories by Billy Lombardo. Billy, I found out, teaches in Latin, and he tells the story from a perspective of an Italian-American named Petey, who's 8 and lives above Dressel's Bakery in Bridgeport, around 33rd Street and Wallace, I think. And there's stories of working in the bakery and the kids playing ball in the play lot on the corner, and just a variety of different stories that express, I think, the neighborhood, and for anybody who grew up this is set in, I think, the early 70s, but it can represent from the 50s or probably earlier, because Bridgeport has a very classic old-time kind of neighborhood about it. So things, I think, didn't change much from the 40s to the till now, probably. So I think I just resonated with his descriptions of being a child. And so Logic of a Rose was the first one I found. Billy's written a couple of novels too, which I've also read, and they also are placed in Chicago, but they don't have the the very, just the essence, the essence of the Chicago experience. They just happen to be, the stories take place in Chicago, in my opinion, but they're good stories. Then I found this one by chance, Taking It Home, Stories from the Neighborhood by Tony Ardizone. And this is Italian-American experiences again, so he has one or two that are placed in the old neighborhood in Taylor Street, but the character also lives on Olive up here on the north side, which is very close to Senn, where I went to high school. So he's all over the place. Again, they're not strictly autobiographical, but they just capture the essence of Chicago. There's one story of a little boy who's looking out on Fullerton Avenue on a very snowy, slushy day, waiting for his mother to come home from work because she's a widowed mother, and just how a little boy feels. He also has incidents of, I guess, the classic stories of that people that went to a Catholic school went through, with the stories of hell that the nuns, the paintings, pictures of hell that the nuns would paint, and what would happen on the Judgment Day, and when all hell would break loose, basically, and collecting money for the pagan babies, and how the different rows in school would get to name the babies if they collected the most money that week. And things that kids that have grown up in Catholic school, which I didn't, also would be able to relate to. So Taking It Home, Stories from the Neighborhood, Tony Ardizone. And the third is Streets and Alleys, Stories with a Chicago Accent by Sid Lieberman. Sid grew up in Albany Park, and he's a prominent storyteller. Lives perhaps in Evanston now, but he's very well respected and sought after as a storyteller all over the country. And so these are described probably 1950s, but again, I think these stories go across the ages. So whether you grew up in the 30s or the teens or the 2000 10, you know, you can relate if you live in Chicago. And this was a Jewish American background, so I think that may be a very good segue into Eileen's book, and I'm looking forward to adding her book to my collection of stories about Chicago.